right. Are we recording? There we go. All right. Good morning, everybody. How you doing? Thanks for spending some time again with me today on a Wednesday. A couple reminders. Next week, Zoom Room is going to resume on Monday at 11 o'clock. Same time as it has been. But just a reminder, I think I mentioned this last week, but we have a special guest coming in to do the Zoom Room on Monday. David Stribling, the managing broker of our Roseburg, Oregon office. He's phenomenal. Also has an incredible beard, so you'll feel like, hey, you're listening to Tay, but he sounds a little different. On Monday at Zoom Room, when we're going to talk about, he's going to cover the topic of what's your wig? What is your wig? Your wildly important goal, and then he'll talk about the idea behind different ways to get there, right? Your lead measures, your lag measures, things of that nature. So that is coming next Monday at 11. We want to do more advertising for you guys. I really want to start giving you more opportunities to get your listings out there in front of more people, especially locally in our areas. And so one thing that we have come up with to do this, to accomplish this, is you saw an email yesterday from either Kaya or Nalani saying, hey, if you're doing video of your listing, please send it to Nalani, send it to Kaya, and we would love to post those on our Facebook and boost them and do all kinds of things to try to get you more exposure for those listings that you're doing videos on. So if you're paying for like a drone video and interior, moving around and all that cool stuff, yeah, for sure, we want it. We want to post it. If you are doing a walkthrough, kind of open house that you're posting to your listing or on Facebook or something of that nature, we want it, right? Now, I am opening myself up to making people disappointed. And here's how I'm doing that. And I know right now that I'm doing that by offering this. The video has to be of decent quality, right? So if you send me a video and it's like you like going through a house like this and you're talking and saying all kinds of strange stuff, the video isn't great or the lighting is horrible or whatever it is, that's not going to reflect your listing well. It's not going to reflect you as a listing agent well. It's not going to reflect the company well. So we do want things that are high quality. Does it have to be professional? Absolutely not, right? No video right now needs to be professional quality. People just want that interaction. But just make sure that you go slow and that you articulate as you go through and then it makes sense and that the video isn't 10 minutes long, right? Make something that is concise, and we will we'll spend our own efforts and marketing money also to continue to push those videos. We really want to get more video out there for folks. Something for the West Seattle office. If you've noticed, a couple years ago in the West Seattle office, there were keypads that were installed by all the exterior doors. Those are finally going to start being usable to us. So instead of using a key or worrying about if the office is unlocked or not, the building, we will have a keypad to get into the office. It'll be probably the same keypad as what is in the elevator, but we'll find out about that. We should know by this time next week and have that up and running. So just a heads up, that is something that is coming that is pretty cool. All right, so one thing that has come up a few times here in the last week is issues with inspection contingency requests. All right. And what I'm seeing is that with COVID, it may be a little bit more difficult to get in for your inspection, to find the right time to do it. Maybe it's because things are so busy, inspection periods are shrinking down. But the big thing that I'm finding is that people are struggling maybe to get bids when they are asking for things on inspection contingencies, right? So if I represent the buyer and we find all kinds of things and we want to get some money to compensate us for those things, that maybe the money isn't adding up, or we're finding ourselves in some liability situations because we're either unable to get a contractor to come out and give us a bid, or because we waited until the end of our long or shortened inspection contingency time to do the inspection, and now we're running out of time to get the bids that way. But one way or another, some opportunities or some things have come up where agents have kind of maybe been ballparking things from past experience, but maybe their ballpark is more like a little league field, and the reality is the ballpark is more like a Major League Baseball stadium, right? I mean, it's very different in those ballparks. This is not an example that I have seen recently, but it really perfectly kind of encapsulates what this is looking like for some of our agents. Is we know that an electrical panel might cost $1,500 to $2,500 to change an electrical panel. That's pretty standard. It's pretty normal. It makes sense. So we tell our client, hey, it's going to be about $1,500 to $2,500 probably to do that panel. That would be a reasonable statement until an electrician comes out and says, well, because of X, Y, and Z, that panel actually has to be moved to the other side of the house, right? And now we're talking about something that is much, much bigger. So I'm just bringing this up because I just want to put some attention on the idea that make sure that you're not giving ballparks to your clients. You open up a lot of liability that way. Make sure that if you are asking for something that's a ballpark number, that it's coming from your client and not from you, and that you're working hard to get those bids, which can be difficult right now, I know. But it is very, very important not to put your client in a bad spot that way, where you're asking for one number only to find out, gosh, it could be a lot more. Cool. I've got another thing. I absolutely love this. This one. It really was an interesting. Just a reminder, maybe a little bit of an eye opener. I was talking with a neighbor of mine here in Normandy Park, and they are a real estate agent with another company, and a very successful one. Does business actually not really in our area, more in the east side. And I asked him, I said, hey, what are you doing, right now during the COVID situation? And he said, I'm retooling my business. And I said, well, you have a really successful business. And he says, yeah, but I think it's time to retool my business. I said, well, yeah. I said, it really, agents that kind of go through this period and this transition without learning new skills and growing their business that way are really going to be, it's going to be really unfortunate at the backside of this to come out and not have new skills and new things that they're implementing. And he said, it won't be a shame. They'll just be left behind. And it really was a good eye opener. It was a reminder that, you know what, that's true, right? We know that this is going to change all kinds of things in our lives forever. And if we're not retooling, if we're not looking at the way that we do things, if we're not finding ways to be able to express to our clients what we're doing differently now in COVID, it would be very, it can definitely be very detrimental to us. I also started thinking to myself, okay, so he is talking in this way. What is he saying to a seller who is, competing with multiple agents or multiple companies, right? Well, he's probably telling the seller, hey, here are the things that I've done to retool my business and my efforts and my market to make this to anybody else, right? Or to ask the same thing to anybody else that you're competing with. Did I freeze again? Kelly, did I freeze? Kelly doesn't know that she's on camera right now, I think.
Yeah, you froze, Tay, for just a moment.
Did I freeze for a minute? Okay. Well, it is what it is. We'll keep going. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. Anyway, it's just it's the concept is, hey, if he's retooling his business, he's going to utilize that not only to do better for his sellers, but also to compete with you, right? And so should we be taking that same stance and that same idea that, hey, if we're not retooling, if we're not coming up with new and innovative ways to market and do these things, if we're not building our business, then are we being left behind a little bit? Let's talk about some stats. Did you see the email I sent out today reminding people that, hey, there are some mind-blowing stats that I'm going to throw your way today? There are. I'm going to start with the least mind-blowing stat that there is. The MLS key boxes, we've been talking about that stat, right? So that we can kind of gauge, well, what's been the activity. We've had 7 straight weeks of going up, and last week the key box activity went down for the first week in 2 months. It went down a whole 1.1%. So not a big concern, right? We actually want to see that kind of level off in a space because it'll kind of give us an idea of really where we are rather than guessing where we're going to end up, right? So we'll see. We'll keep monitoring that. But really interesting stuff comes from the MLS, the week over week stats. So I don't know the best way to explain this, or maybe I do, but I want to make sure that we get this clear because I'm going to talk to you about the relation between active listings on the MLS and pended listings over the last week, because there is something fascinating here. So if you look on the MLS, you see something like this. It's a graph with the last weeks, or for multiple weeks, and kind of what the numbers were over multiple weeks. The one that I just put up on the screen, that is the residential and condo active listings, market activity for active listings. Okay, so week over week, we were flatlined in active listings. But if you can see here, can I do that right? Can you see the line on the top is 2019, okay? Line on the bottom there at the end, this is last week, right? The line on the bottom is 2020. If you'll notice, I have written in there that last week, the week over week, there was an 800 listing drop. But if we ignore that for a second, which is interesting, and that's what is putting us closer to where we were year over year, okay? But if you ignore that for a minute and you look at what happened in the previous weeks, right? This makes perfect sense. Our listings were significantly down this year over last year. Okay, makes sense. It's not so mind-blowing, Tay. Okay, but if we go to Pendids, and now I know that I should have reprinted this without the notes, but I'm gonna show you Pendids. Can you see that? Top line is 2000, or the top line for the bulk here is 2019, and this line down here is 2020. All right, do you see what has happened to the Pendids? Can you see that okay? Right here. The Pendids for last week were higher than they were at any time last year in a week, in a 1 week period. Last week, more Pendids than any other week last year. And yet, inventory for 2 months has been significantly suppressed. What is that telling you? How do you even pend that many properties in 1 week when inventory was lower? And last year, busy market, great spring season, all that stuff, and yet the Pendids never hit that number, right? Well, it means that people are buying everything. I mean, they're buying the crumbs, right? That's one thing that it's telling us, right? What's it also telling us? Remember a couple of months ago, right, when we had that video from Dr. Yoon, the chief ecologist or economist, for the National Association of Realtors, and what did he say? He said that, hey, the spring season is still going to be there. It's just not going to be in the spring, right? It's going to push back into the summer, right? He said this was going to happen. Now, this is 1 week, and we'll continue to monitor it, and each week we'll look at the stats, and we'll talk about it here, and we'll assess what does this mean. But what this means,
you muted yourself, Tay.
Yeah, I can't hear you.
it's doing strange things, people. I didn't touch anything. I muted myself. What this is telling us, though, is that things are getting pushed back, right? The marketing, or I'm sorry, the marketing, I'm looking at notes on top here that say that my recording, okay, apparently is still recording, that the market is pushing back, right? So springtime market is just going to be pushed back into summer. In fact, what we might end up ultimately seeing is just a complete flip-flop of the market, right? Where summer is spring and spring is summer in terms of transactions and things of that nature. So watch for that. We'll see what happens. Keeping current matters. Does anybody check on these things from this website? Nalani, I was talking to her about this stat this morning. She said, hey, check out the last two articles from Keeping Current Matters. The first one talks about spring season has shifted to summer, which is what this is. Was what the stats are showing us is potentially just now starting, and Dr. Yoon had been saying, and also the next article, the last article that they put up from just a day ago, was the housing market positioned to bring back the economy. Right, it's talking about how strong the housing market is and how the housing market is actually going to be a stepping stone for the economy to bounce back. Anyway, really interesting stuff. Things I think that we should pay attention to. But again, if pendids are up and people are buying things and getting under contract faster than they did at a quicker rate, at least for a week, right? We've seen them go up, up, up. So they're continuing that climb. We'll continue to monitor that. Closings, of course, are what? Down, 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 right? We're below in closings where we were last year at this time because we had low inventory, but that is, but the closings are going up. Remember, that's a lag measure. That's something that's going to happen after. So we'll keep an eye on that. And then I wanted to talk real briefly about areas 130 and 140 specifically, because something interesting is happening. Activity in or active listings in area 130 last week were 29 new listings in area 130. Average days on market for those listings right now is 4 days. 4 days is the market time for listings last week. West Seattle, though, new listings in the last week, 57, almost twice what it was in area 130, right? What's the first thing that you think? The bridge, oh my gosh, the bridge. Do we have to pay attention to the bridge? Absolutely, we should pay attention to the bridge. Is some of this activity because of the bridge? Could be. That wouldn't be an unlikely thought that maybe more houses hit the market and went active because people are making adjustments, right? Average days on market for those listings, 57 listings that went on the market last week, 4 days. 4 days. What is that telling us? Again, there is a ton of people out there looking for houses, and I can't predict what's going to happen and if we'll continue to see more houses listed in West Seattle and still selling at that faster rate. But if we see double the houses or many more houses in West Seattle listing and they're selling in 4 days, give me another helping of bridge, please, right? At the end of the day, we keep talking about this idea that when there is things that change, when there's change, there's opportunities. And some people right now are seeing those opportunities as they're listing more properties. There's more things available to sell in West Seattle, which should give us opportunities as the top real estate brand and more agents than anybody else in the West Seattle area to do more transactions, to get more of that pie. Okay, let's hit some calendar things for next week. Zoom room again Monday with David Stribling from Roseburg. Make sure to hit that. Reliance we sent out a flyer. Reliance sent something out a week ago, and then we just sent out a nice flyer yesterday that has some upcoming Reliance classes that you can take that are 10 a.m. classes next Tuesday at 10 a.m. It's on action plans with Reliance. So check out the email that you got. With those for future dates. We'll mention each one the week before, but those are coming in. Those are every Tuesday, each week, every Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. I think they're just about a half hour long. They're not long. Let's see, what else? Tuesday, June 4th, we have a clock hour class. So bringing you another 3 free clock hours with Amerispec inspection company. They are going to talk to us about helping your clients with going green in inspections and with houses and how these things work and benefits of different functions and things in homes that they're going to see that are green, and help you be able to talk with your clients as you go through them when you are seeing items that are green home items. So anyway, very interesting class, 3 clock hours, no cost to you. It'll be on Zoom, and we'll have more info on that coming, but that is next Thursday, June 4th. Cool. And of course, we'll have a sales meeting on the 11th. The last thing that I want to mention is that for the West Seattle office, there is a trivia night put together. I was just talking to Charity about a half an hour ago to nail this down. We're going to do that Thursday the 4th. So not tomorrow, but a week from tomorrow at 7 p.m. It's going to be a late one. Jump on, do a trivia night. That's going to be hosted by a gal who does trivia nights at different places, and that's it's free to join, but there is donations are welcome to the gal who's going to run that. So more info on that, but just save the date, right? Kind of a thing. All right, let's get to some of our guest folks today. I want to start with Bill Nelson. Bill, I know you're there, but I want to intro you with just I had talked to Alice yesterday to confirm she was good with me sharing this, but I just wanted to share with y'all that at the beginning of the lockdown, and I know I've mentioned it probably 3 or 4 times since about this idea about using Bill as a great touching point for your clients. And Alice actually does a weekly email that she puts out. And after mentioning and talking to Bill or about this idea, at the last sales meeting, she put out an email to her entire SOI that is amazing, and it really talks about the value of having her clients contact Bill to talk about their insurance right now, because there are so many ways to save right now and things that Bill could potentially be doing to help her clients. It just was phenomenal. So at any rate, I just wanted to give her a shout out for that. Well done. It looks amazing, and high value for the clients. And anybody who does reach out to Bill is going to be more than happy that Alice recommended that they did that. So anyway, Bill, what's going on?
No pressure at all, huh?
None. No pressure.
Well, with that, I was thinking about a topic to talk about, and I can always talk about saving people money. And I will do it because I just had a good weekend. The last 3 deals I did, I literally saved a lady. She was Julie Richmond's referral up in Edmonds. I saved that lady almost $1,700 just on a car and a home, because she was so upside down and was being taken so advantage of, and had never looked at her insurance. Just like Alice was saying, she hadn't looked at her insurance for probably 11 years. And she was really mad. I felt bad for her because she was so mad that she kind of overlooked what I was able to do for her, because she was so mad at her current provider. But I just really enjoyed doing that, because there's so many people that are upside down. But so give me a shot if you've got somebody who wants a second look. I'm more than happy to help you guys out on that. But one of the things I wanted to talk to you guys about today are umbrellas. And some of you, kind of an ironic thing on such a nice sunny day, but a lot of you may have an umbrella in place, or may have heard of it, or may not quite sure of what it is. But I'll just tell you kind of briefly how an umbrella works. And I'll give you some examples. Let's say, heaven forbid, you're involved in an auto accident and the claim is $1 million. Typically, with your auto coverages, you would have $250,000 in place to settle that claim. But if it's $1 million, how is that additional $750,000 covered? If you have an umbrella in place, it will close the gap, clean that up, and take care of it, and there's no additional monies out of your pocket. If you don't have an umbrella in place, you are personally on the hook for $750,000. And you think about how many different ways to Sunday can a lawyer figure out how to get $750,000 out of you? They can take your future earnings. They can take your property, your assets, 401ks. They can take vacation homes. Everything is in play to settle that claim. And, I remember years ago, I'll give you a few more examples, but there was a retired school teacher. This actually happened down in Tacoma. Sunny day like today, he's cutting his grass. He doesn't have a bag catcher on the mower. There's a kid sitting on a bicycle on the sidewalk in his own neighborhood. A rock shoots out, hits the kid in the head, blinds the kid in one eye. The parents sue the teacher, the retired teacher. He had just retired. It was during the summer, for $600,000. And that he had to sell his house and change his whole lifestyle for the rest of his retirement years in order to settle that claim. So it's just something that people don't think about, but I always look at that and try and make that part of your package, because it's just a really critical piece of a type of a policy. It's the kind of product that if you should have it, but you hope you never have to use it. And the nice thing about an umbrella is it sits on top of your auto, it sits on top of your home, liability, and it covers you anywhere you go in the world. So it does a lot of things for you. So I just wanted to give you a couple of examples. These were claims that actually happened with Travelers Insurance Company out of St. Paul. They paid these claims last year. And again, everybody thinks that somebody has to be physically hurt. I have to be damaged. I have to take a rock to the head, or I have to, hit a bicyclist. Here's an example. I'm just going to turn my head a little bit so I can kind of read it. There was a junior high girl that hated her math teacher and hated math class, and went online and disparaged her and made false remarks about the teacher. The teacher turned around and sued the family and won a $700,000 judgment for the comments that the daughter had made. So again, there's no car, there's no home liability. I mean, the umbrella picks up stuff like that. And for those of you who may be a landlord or have customers or clients that are landlords, they definitely need to have an umbrella. Here's another example that happened last year. A tenant claimed that she suffered carbon monoxide poisoning from a faulty furnace from her landlord. She sued the landlord for $900,000 because she said she had irreparable brain damage, and she won. So it's just, again, another example of how the umbrella can step up. And I'll just give you just this one last one, because I think this is probably almost kind of the strangest one. But there was a kid in the Midwest last year. He was an aspiring baseball prospect trying to get a scholarship for college. And his parents hired a pitching coach, and the pitching coach changed the kid's motion, and they claimed it wrecked him, and he did not get a scholarship. They sued that pitching coach and won an $800,000 judgment.
No.
I mean, it's crazy. It's really crazy. And here's the thing, an umbrella, when I'm talking to your clients and our clients, I say, hey, you know what, you can add an umbrella for about what the cost of a pizza is, a takeout pizza. And I just got a takeout pizza in Woodinville last week, and it was $30. And an umbrella is even less than that, $30. You can get a $1 million umbrella for about $18 a month. And it doesn't matter if you're a first-time home buyer or a long-term home buyer, because everything you own, I tell people, when you get in your car every day, everything you own is in the trunk of your car. And an umbrella will protect you. And just, it's literally an umbrella that sits on top of everything you own. So I just wanted to kind of share that with you guys. And, just take a look at your policies when you get a chance. It's just a quick phone call to your agent, or if you want me to ever take a look at it, they can add them on, like I said, for about $20.
Awesome.
So,
Bill, thank you very much. I think that
Thanks,
the
guys.
takeaway is, again, I mean, ultimately you can help our clients protect themselves in ways that we don't even think about as agents a lot of the time. And that's
they're
really
not even thinking about it.
Yeah, it's the high value of having you here with the company. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Kevleen, anything new with equity?
Hi there. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi. Good morning. Just wanted to unmute and uncamera myself here. So I just wanted to, a little bit new. We've converted our home book, our listing home book that we provide for $12.10 to go virtual. So as you guys are doing your listings virtually, you can order our home book virtually, and it comes in a PDF version that is really nice and formatted, just as our previous home book was that we printed on paperback. So we're offering that for your virtual listings. I think last week Nicole mentioned we're going to be offering some classes from Equity. So those are going to be rolling out here soon. We're still doing same day signings. So if I kind of got word last week, hearing through the grapevine, that there's some other companies out there that are saying they won't do same day signings, same day closings, same day fundings, and there's some smack on that is due to COVID. Equity Title is still doing same day signings, same day funding, same day closing. I had one yesterday. The sellers did not almost want to extend. The buyer's lender said that they were going to get me documents yesterday to do a signing. I never got them, and we got the seller to agree to extend by 1 day. I have facilitated a same day signing today. We are funding and closing today. So that has not stopped in the world of equity here. So if you're hearing that out there in the field that they won't handle same days due to COVID, it is possible. It's a matter of getting a notary out to the client that morning or having them travel to one of our locations to get them signed. We can still make closing if all teams, including the lender and all parties in the transaction, participate. So that's what I have for you today.
Nice. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Tay.
Awesome. All right, Mark Denniston.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Well, not an awful lot today, other than I want to go over what Kara spoke about last week, just to remind everyone, because there was quite a few things. But I think the most important thing for everyone to know is interest rates. They're at the lowest they've been in well over 50 years. And they remain, quite steady. They've actually gone down slightly from a week ago. So you couldn't have a better time to be getting a new mortgage. Rates are in the low threes for mortgages up to 510,400, more like the mid threes for 510 to 741, 750. But those are absolutely fantastic interest rates, and it's a great time to take advantage of those if you have anyone. We also, at Prosperity, are offering a $500 lender credit for anyone that's going to refinance their home or purchase a home and have applied prior to June 30th. So if anybody has applied, for example, for a pre-approval on June 30th and buys a home and closes within 30 to 45 days, we will pay $500 towards their closing costs. Same thing if they refinance, or you, or anyone for that matter. So there's a $500 credit waiting for anyone that does anything before June 30th. And then last week, FHA, VA, and conventional, we lowered our minimum credit score requirements for those types of loans. Again, FHA, VA, and conventional, we were, prior to COVID, at 640 for minimum credit for the middle credit score. We are now back to 640. If you remember, we went up to 660. Most lenders went to 680. Quite a few have remained there. Some have reduced their credit score requirements, but we just want everybody to know that that's a big deal, especially for people that have, are in the credit score problems of like someone with for example, a 645 credit score. 2 weeks ago, you wouldn't be able to get an approval, and today we can. So that's very important to note. We also have manufactured home loans as well. So the market, is strong as far as lending market is concerned. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. I know Susie Register reached out to me here, I believe it was on Monday, and I think her mother sent her an article from the Wall Street Journal that said lending requirements have toughened up. Really, that's not true. And of course, they did toughen up immediately upon the lockdowns in March, but quickly we've relaxed those restrictions, and really it's lending as normal right now. So we're ready to roll. I think I can state for Kara and myself, you guys, we're available whenever you need us. So please reach out to us. We want to help you. We want to pay $500 towards your buyer's closing costs. And hopefully you guys can get out there and sell some houses. Any questions?
Absolutely. I think it's pretty straightforward and obvious that the restrictions are definitely have been lifted, at least for the most part. You don't pend more properties than you did in any single week last year. In this last week, if lending is more stringent or so significantly more stringent that is taking a bunch of people out of the marketplace, that's just not the case at the moment. So that's a great reminder.
Point. Yep,
absolutely. Awesome. Thanks, Mark. Thanks. All right, so we are winding down. We have week 3 of our Mindset Skill Set Action series. I have had a lot of fun putting this together. My children have absolutely hated this series because we have been talking about it at length. My 13-year-old yesterday is struggling with math, and we went back and we said, we got to get a better mindset, right? And then we got to work on the problems so that we can, the practice problems, so we can hone our skill set, and so that we can take action and crush that quiz on Friday, right? And oh my goodness, this is not the first time we've talked about this, and I think he wanted to just, I think maybe he ran away last night. I haven't seen him this morning yet. So, but at the end of the day, it's right. It is the right path, or it is the right sequence of events, right, to put ourselves in a position to succeed. And today it's action, baby, right? It is time to make action, right? We talked 2 weeks ago about mindset and getting ourselves right. We talked last week about skill set and all of the things that we have available to us through the company, through the staff, through all these trainings, everything that's available to hone your skill set. Did you take advantage? Did you get started last week? If you didn't get started last week working on your skill set, it's okay. There's time. You can jump in. The water's nice, right? Don't take this opportunity to just go, oh, well, I didn't, so I won't. No, if you didn't, okay, that's fine. You didn't, and now you can, right? Jump on in. Let's go, right? Let's work on your skill set. Who watches $1 Million Listing, right? is it TLC that $1 Million Listing is on? New York, $1 Million Listing, New York. There's this guy, Ryan Serhant, right? I hate this show, by the way. Maybe I shouldn't, but we definitely should be paying attention to it because it is kind of how the outside world sees and views us, whether we're selling tons of multi-million-dollar properties or not, right? This is kind of how people see us. But Ryan has something that he says that I absolutely love, and that is grow all days in all ways, right? Grow every day in every way. This is the concept. So goofy too, because I had this put into today's plan, and then like 30 minutes before we start, I got an email. You may have also gotten the email, right, in your work email address, Ryan Serhant's new book. Whatever, I'm not plugging Ryan Serhant's new book. But what I am saying is that's the idea, right? We want to grow. And so today we kind of go into that final step of actions, right? Sleeves up, war room, let's get after it. Let's actually make active, right? Because we talked last week about that axe, right? If you give me 6 hours to cut down a tree, I'm going to spend 4 hours sharpening the axe, said Abraham Lincoln, right? So great, we can sit there and we can sharpen our axe forever and ever and ever, all we want, but there are no trees coming down until we put that axe into action, right? Until we actually take it and start making some wax at that tree. So what are we going to do that? Well, let's start with our own premise of mindset, skill set, and action. And let's just jump back for a second and go, let's get our mindset straight right now, right here. If you are focusing, you got all kinds of things and distractions, focus just for a moment on, let's call a spade. Who are you in your business, right? Who are you to your business? You are your own CEO. We think of ourselves as independent contractors. And so we walk around saying, I'm a realtor, right? Or I'm an independent contractor. But the reality is that we really should be looking at ourselves and thinking of ourselves as CEOs. You run your own small business. And for some of us, it's a much bigger business than a small business, right? You are responsible for $1 million in sales of homes a year. That's a small business. You're responsible for up to $50 million a year in sales. Well, you're doing pretty good real estate business, right? But one way or another, you are responsible for your business. You are responsible for your successes. And if you have failures, you are responsible for those also, right? And so thinking about this and getting our mindset right about who we are in our businesses will help us when it comes to the action. I talk to new agents all the time. In fact, if you're with the company for the last couple of years, I think I started using this about 2 years ago. You've maybe heard this from me, but it is this idea of trying to understand what our business really is. And it is, we have a business that's a little bit difficult. And sometimes it's hard to take a step back and look at it from the outside and say, how should my business work? How much time should I be dedicating to my business? What would it look like to be the CEO of my own business? And so I use an example of someone who is starting a restaurant, right? If I am the CEO of my new restaurant, if I am building a new restaurant, you know what I'm probably doing? Every day of the week, I'm probably in there before opening, doing all the prep work, doing the ordering, things like that, right? I'm in there all day long during business hours. I'm cooking, I'm bussing tables, I'm taking orders, whatever it is that my responsibility is. But if I am starting a restaurant, I am there, I am active, I am taking action all day long through the business day. And after I close, what am I doing? I'm cleaning up, I'm taking out the garbage, I'm paying bills, I'm doing everything to set myself up to do it again the next day. And I am probably doing that 6 to 7 days a week, right? If I am opening my own new restaurant. But we're doing the same thing when we're a real estate agent, right? But are we attacking every day in the same way, right? Are we as intentional? Are we spending that time in action all through the day, every single day? And I think a restaurant is really a good example because I think you can kind of get your head around what it would take to start a restaurant. Oh my goodness. But you know what? It takes the same to run your real estate business, to do it successfully, right? And so if you're like, well, I'm not spending that much time, look at your business. Is it where you want it to be, right? And if not, then let's take that action and go from where you are now and get it revved up. All right. So if we know, hey, we want to take action and we know we want to grow, right? That's the goal. What are we doing, right? What is the action that you can be taking? Well, maybe the action just starts with those skill set lists that you looked at last week. Maybe you didn't start it. Maybe you did. If you did start that skill set worksheet or that email last week, or start looking at things, take the skill set that you worked on last week and apply it this week. Don't fail to work on another skill this week. You can't just go, hey, I learned that skill and now I'm going to put it into action. I'm never going to go back and work on my skills. No, that's not the deal, right? If you're there before the store opens and all during the day and after the store closes building your business, right? Then you have time as a real estate agent. If you're doing that as a restaurateur, right? You have time as a real estate agent to continue to work on your skills and then to take the skills that you've been working on and put them into action, into place, right? So do that. Maybe it is as simple as taking action and going, you know what? I need to contact people, right? Maybe it's as simple as picking up that phone. I know a lot of us have done a great job picking up the phone as we've been in the lockdown, but I also know law of averages. There are people right now, there's 60 of us. There are people right now that are going, yeah, I really haven't called my SOI. Yeah, I called some people, but I really didn't do what I could or should or know that I wanted to accomplish, right? Take that action. You worked on the skills, take the action, use the axe and go make your calls, right? Connect with those people. I cannot say more how valuable even utilizing the 555 sheet can be for you, right? I know it's a dead horse and I'm going to keep beating it because the reality is this: if you do that 555 sheet and you are doing your calls and your thank you cards and your texts and your posts and things of that nature, and you continue and you make that a part of your business, you can't not succeed. You can't fail at doing real estate if you consistently are doing that day in, day out, right? The number of contacts and connections you are making just simply won't let you fail. Right? Take that action. Go get what it is that is yours. If you haven't started doing video yet, y'all know how I feel about video, but I was just looking the other day and saw this stat on social media, sharing on social media, anything that you post to social media, the number of shares of your social media content increase 1,200% if it's video versus text or pictures. 1,200% more shares. That's more engagements. That's more everything, right? Doesn't say good video. It's okay, right? If we're learning video and we're trying and we're doing new things and we're having fun with it and some of it works out and some of it doesn't. I post every one of these sales meetings, right? Do I think that every one of these sales meetings are amazing and that I really want 100 people watching these videos? Well, no. And I also know 100 people aren't going to watch it, but the reality is this is me. This is what I have to offer. You need to give yourself in the same way. Use that as an opportunity for action, right? Yesterday, I was talking with an agent, and we were talking about what he's been doing during this time, right, of being locked down. And I asked a simple question. I just said, hey, how are you doing in the lockdown? Do you feel like you're using the time wisely? Are you getting things accomplished? And he said something back to me that I think we can all relate with. He said, hey, you know what? Yes, but maybe no. Right? It's this idea of, yeah, I think I'm doing stuff. I know that I'm doing things, but if somebody else was looking at it, would I be doing things? Would it be enough? Am I doing a lot? Am I doing a little? I don't even know necessarily how to quantify what I'm doing. And so we came up with 2 ideas, and I'm going to challenge you all to do this same thing, right? 2 ideas that will help you in your action, will help you identify where you need to take action, will help you identify if you're taking enough action, right? And the 2 things that we came up with for him to implement, and again, I'm going to challenge you all to do the same, is 1 is to just by your computer or your workstation or wherever you are for the majority of your day when you're working, to just have a sheet of paper and log what you do each day for your real estate business. Log your action, okay? Whatever it is, right? Made a phone call, boom, made a phone call. Called Tay, needed some inspiration, awesome. Called Tay, needed some inspiration, right? Did my 555 sheet, great. Whatever it is that you're doing, just chart it through the day. And then don't look at it again, then do it again the next day and the next day and the next day. Do it for a week and then go back and look and self-assess, right? Am I putting in a day of a restaurateur, right? Am I putting in the day of a CEO of my own company? You will be able to identify whether you are causing enough action through the week to build your business the way that you want to build it, right? But if you're not charting it, it is so easy to forget. The other thing that we said is hey, let's do this. Set one tangible, valuable goal each week. One. Now, you're going to do a lot of things in the course of a week, right? But the action here is at the beginning of the week, determine what is my goal to accomplish this week. Maybe that goal is to post a video, create and post a video. Maybe that goal is to call your entire SOI. Maybe that goal is to get a certification. Maybe that goal is to do something with your CMA packet. It doesn't matter what it is, but choose a tangible, substantial goal each week. Write it down and hold yourself to it that week. At the end of this, this period, before we get into phase 2, you will have several weeks of things that you'll be able to go back and go, hey, look at all the things that I've accomplished. So if I asked you, hey, how did you use your time? Were you able to accomplish what you wanted to accomplish? You'd be able to tangibly say, yeah, I did this and this and this and this. I feel pretty darn good about that, because it does feel good to have that accomplishment that comes with action. So I will challenge you all to do that. I think that it is a great way to set yourself up and to continue to look at action. And as you're going through your coming weeks and months, and as we're kind of going through this business, keep going back to that idea of mindset first, right? Mindset's the foundation. Skill set second, right? I've got to have my skill set. Now, I can't keep getting ready to get ready. I can't just keep working on my skill set and then never put it into action. I've got to move into phase 3. I've got to take the things, my mindset, my amazing mindset, my skill set that I'm building, and then I've got to take it and put it into place. I hope that the last 3 weeks have been helpful for you. I hope that the concept resonates and makes sense with you. It is not a new concept. This is pretty straightforward stuff, but it's good to go back and to rethink this through and to put it into context with what we have in our resources with Berkshire Hathaway. So with that, I would like to go and give the Buffy and the Warren Awards this week. I am going to say that our staff has done, it just continues to do an amazing job across the board. And I'm going to single out 2. I'm going to single out our sales managers, Nalani and Russ, for the work that they are doing behind the scenes for you as agents, for me as a managing broker. What they're doing is really unparalleled with anything that I am seeing from other companies. When I talk to agents from other companies, from our own company and our other offices, the value that they are adding to our agents' ability to learn things, to grow their business, their skill set, and to do business, to actually contract homes, is just phenomenal. It really even goes on to that they are doing things that really allow us to be better for our clients. And I just appreciate the heck out of Nalani and Russ. And so the Warren and the Buffy are going to our sales managers this week. Well deserved. Thank you for that, guys. With that said, if there are any questions, I will definitely answer those. I know that there's one that Bruce had asked earlier. Let me bring this up. If you've got any questions, go ahead and pop them in the meeting notes over here. And Bruce, I saw your question earlier about could someone create a key box graph? Was that answered? Did somebody answer that question? No. Okay, so the key box graph, I think what you're talking about is the super key boxes, right? And what the inventory is, or I'm sorry, what the showing numbers are, how many key boxes are being opened any one week. And actually the MLS has that for you. So what I will do is I will work with Kaya and we'll create just a quick step-by-step. There's like 3 or 4 clicks to find where that is. And it has a graph and it has the weekly numbers and it's got up arrows and down arrows and color coded and all this stuff. So it looks amazing and it's already there and you can access it anytime. It looks like they have gone to changing that on Mondays in general. So look for that there and we'll put that out. Awesome. All right. Thank you, Kelly. I appreciate that. Yes, fantastic. A lot of congratulations for Nalani and Russ, fantastic. Okay, anyone else having FHA appraisals come in low? I don't. I'll open it up. Let me do this. I'm going to stop the recording, and then I'll open it up for anybody that wants to stay around and talk about that if they have any experience or anything else. And with that, we'll go ahead and end the meeting for those of you that want to jump off. So thanks again for sharing today with me. I appreciate it. We will be back here next Tuesday or next Wednesday at 11 o'clock. All right. Stop recording.